Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So coming back again with the third little play with this Santa Paws, which is the Winter Wishes. Again, it's matastic, beautiful. You get two of each sheet in the kit. So you've got the beautiful little Westie with the robins, the snowmen. You've got a little robin with a letter there, smaller sort of labelly type die cut. You've got little tags here. You've got Furry and Bright, Winter Wishes, and especially for you. And you've got the present border. You have two of these foiled sheets, which again is that lovely little Westie going to the post box. These come with the insert and paper packs, and I believe this is the one that matches because you've got the snowfall, which is the same, but you've also got the presents which match the present border and on here. This is the printed one with the kitten and the snowman, and you've got two robins on that one. And then in the insert pack you get three of the papers each one and three of the inserts. Okay, so let's pop those out of the way for a second, and let's bring in a piece of 6x12 cardstock and we will get started. So I have been having a few camera problems. I did start a card and got halfway through. Beautiful card, you'll probably see it when I do the whole finished lot. But then when I went to the camera, I hadn't recorded anything at all, even though it was showing as recording on my screen. So fingers crossed, we're going to get through this okay. So with this 6x12, because I'm going to do a reverse easel for the first one, so I'm going to score at 3 and at 6. And then let's pop that one out of the way. And then we can just fold that like we would for a normal card. Give that a good burnish down. Let's use this one, that's better. And then this one comes back on itself. Okay, so if you were looking to do a normal easel card, this would come over and you would have a shape like that. But because we're doing a reversed easel today, we have a shape like that. Okay, so kind of like a H if you put it that way around. Okay, so let's pop that to the side. Let's bring our trimmer, and I'm going to use a small piece of cardstock. Now we drag these toppers out a second. They've gone and they're hiding from me. There you are. So I think I am going to do a little Westie again, even though I did it on the previous card that didn't record. So this is 5.5 by just over 4. So what I'm going to do is cut this piece of cardstock to that. Let's go for that way. So, and this is just going to be to put that topper on and provide some support, because the topper itself, the cardstock wouldn't really support itself, so it's going to need something there just to help it along. Back in my cut card pile. Okay, so let's start with the piece for the bottom here, which is going to be a normal 6x6, and I'm going to cut that my usual 2 notches under the 6. And that should fit quite nicely onto there, and it does. And then if I take another piece of these gold mats, I need a piece for here, which is going to be 3x6. So I'm just going to go 2 notches under the 3. 2 notches under the 6. Come here, a little double. Now I may have a piece of gold in here that might be big enough for this piece. Let's have a look. So that was 4 by 5.5, wasn't it? So just a little bit too small. Let me just see if there's another one. It might not be, I might have used it. Okay, I'll use one of these for now. Usually I like to use the A4 sort of card for that, but we'll use this Miri mat just to be quick. So for this piece here, this piece that we're doing a support, I am going to decorate it because you will see the corners. So I'm going to go 2 notches under the 4, and it was 5.5, so 2 notches under the 5.5. That can go into my gold bit box. Got to keep them separately these days, and that way they get used. Okay. So for the bottom, usually I would use an insert, but because we've got these printed papers which are gorgeous and easy to write on, I thought I would do a little differently and use one of those. So I'm going to take to 5 3/4, and I'm going to keep the presents in 5 3/4. This is quite nice because when we put our stopper there, you know, you're still going to see those lovely presents on the bottom. Okay, and then if I come back to the foiled cardstock, which I think I've buried again. Apologies, guys. It's because I had them all in a certain order to do when I started, and then it all went wrong. Technology. Okay, so again I'm going to cut this at 5 3/4, and I'm just going to take this stony bit, so we need to be at 2 3/4. Okay, so that's going to fit nicely onto this piece here, like so. Now this piece at the moment is going to be slightly smaller than what we would need for our 6 by 6 by 1/4 inch, but what you can do is either use the border with that presence on, or you could use a bit of the papers, cut that pattern to match, and then just pop a ribbon across, and you can match it up that way. Okay, so just going back to those papers, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this pattern side. We'll check we've got 5.5 that way. Yes, we have. So I'm just going to take 3 3/4, because I want this to be quite boring as it can be with a Hunkydory card, because this is functional rather than decorational, but you will just see the corners of it. Okay, so let's just check that fits on there quite nicely, and it does. Okay, so let's do some assembling, and then we can bring in all the beautiful toppers. So I'm going to start with the bottom. Seems like the best place to start with this card, and in this usual glues, Kalau tacky glue in this white one, Kalau all purpose in the clear. And I did see a really great tip from, I think it might have been on one of Gina K's videos. I don't think she mentioned it, but somebody popped it up in the comments. I'm sure I saw it there. Forgive me if it was somewhere else. But they said that if your glue is getting a little low and you're finding you have to wait for the glue to flow down to the top, if you pop it on the side in between your gluing, the glue still stays in the nozzle, not enough to drip out unless you've got a really big nozzle, but it just speeds up your crafting along. So, and I find that really works as well, so that was a really great tip. I can't remember who it was that said, but a fantastic tip, and I've stolen it. And not that usually what I do is refill these before each video, but I did refill them just before I finished my last card yesterday. So they are a little bit under, they're not too much, but it's still popping. You can see how the glue just stays in that nozzle, so you don't have to wait for it to flow down. It's genius crafters out there are. That one's not too bad actually. And I'm just laying these up. I think I'm going to go with gold at the top. Although we could have that the other way around with the snowfall, but it's fine. And then let's just pop these together. I did put some of this tacky glue on the back of this paper on one of the projects I was doing yesterday, and I did find that it didn't bubble up, so this paper is thick enough to take a wet glue with water, you know, this water content. I've sort of gone off using my, because I've only got the full tape one on that one. What I'm finding is, unlike the dotty tape pen, that one grabs and it sticks. And when it's paper, it's trying to rip it, and that's not good for my crafting at all. Okay, so this is going to go on to my front of here, and this is going to be my reverse easel. Just pop up that way so you can see. So what I'm going to do, because I'm doing this on a video, I am going to use a little bit of help from my trusty red liner tape. I'm going to use the other glues as well because they are perfect for this, but because I want to be able to work straight away, and it doesn't matter which side I put it on because they're all the same, but just be wary if you have got a paper that is patterned and you want to use it one way or the other. Just make sure. Now I'm thinking I want to come over to the side. Just a few feathers on there. I think my blade might need changing again. And what I'm going to do is just flatten that down so that I know I'm not going over any of the edges, because I still want to be able to get that into my envelope. Okay, and what that will do is just pop that down. So I'm going to give that a minute just to glue down while I get these pieces out. So I'm not sure which tag, which sentiment I want to use yet. Maybe the red one, because we've got the red pillar box, and I might need this border. So just remember, you have got 2 of each set, so you have got 2 of these borders. Let's pop that under there. I'll cut that down in a minute. So I'm going to pop all my layers out. And just trim off any pips that look annoying. You've got a couple of different ways of getting rid of any pips that are showing. You can either just cut them with your knife or your scissors if you are brave enough. You can use a nail file. Just be careful not to file the actual mirror sort of gold foiling, because that will take that off. Or sometimes if it's just a little one, you can just pop it down with your nail. So I don't think I'm going to be using that middle piece. And I might use it actually to give it a bit of lift. Let's see what it looks like with. I do prefer it without. I don't know why, I always prefer it without. Okay, so maybe we should have used the star side, this star snowfall sort of side. Might have given a better contrast, but I think it still stands out really well. Is there anything else I could put on there? What about a little bit of, let's see, I've got this little bit of vellum that I've been cutting around. Let's see if that makes it stand out a bit more. I'm going to leave it as it is. I think it's enough. But you could go in with, you know, the other thing I've got is the glitter cards behind it, just behind the frame sort of side of things. You know, you might have a gold glitter, black glitter, whatever you fancy. I'm just going to do it as it is. Now, I'm going to go with some 2mm foam pads on this one. Thinking we should be okay with the width. As long as I'm sort of careful where I put them. Might be different along the sides, but just put plenty on. Let's see, is that going to be okay? I'm just going to trim them down a bit. Actually, I'll just chop them in half and then we'll get double duty out of them. And if you've got the strips, I have got some of the Hunkydory strips there, but I don't think I've got enough to go around the whole frame. So I'll use these ones. These are the Affix It ones. All do the same job, so it's just these ones are just slightly wider than the strips. And the last one there. There we go. Goes there. And I am going to give myself a little bit of wiggle room by putting some tacky glue on the back of these. It just stops the pad sticking straight away. The other thing you can use if you've got one is the Hunkydory like glue stick, Pritt stick thing. I've not tried that myself because I haven't got any, but I know Anne-Marie says it's really good, so let's just pop a little bit of tacky on all of these pads. And it hasn't got a right or a wrong way because you've got a bit of snowfall in each corner. But what I don't want to do is come over the bottom here because then this side might get a little squashed. So just try and keep it a little bit even. And a little bit on the high side. There we go, that's fine. And then do I want to go to the same height for this? I think I do. So let's grab those pads back again. Got a little one here on its own. Got two over there on their own. I might have to just grab some more. Apologies. So they came in a roll like this. If you take it off this cardboard, they're a nightmare. They get stuck to each other. It's a complete nightmare. So I couldn't get it to, I tried cutting into it here so I could try and pull it round, but it didn't work so well with this one. It does with the bigger one. So I just cut a hole in the middle and just take out what I need. But you can see when they twist, they stick to each other. And then it gets a bit wasteful, so I made the mistake of taking it off the cardboard with the last one. But not with this one. So yeah, that's nice. And I always just turn it over and give it a bit of a press just to see if there are any sort of weak points, because if it goes through the post, then those are going to be the bits that get hit. And you know, could cause your card to come through the post and be all squished. Actually, there's the backing on there. Missed that one. Bit of glue. And again, Now if you struggle with getting it straight in the middle, you can always put that gold layer in and then just layer this through, and 9 times out of 10 I'm okay. So I think that's fine. So that's where we're at the moment. We've got a card that's going to stand like that once we've got our little support on. So let me bring in the little guillotine for this piece just because it's slightly nearer. I'm just going to neaten up that end, and I'm going to take that to, we'll go across the whole of there, so 5 3/4. So it's going to go from the pattern side to the pattern side. Still got a decent sized piece there. Now this does have a right and a wrong way because obviously it's presents. Oops, sorry, my chair's going to squeak. So yeah, you've got the presents going that way. Now I'm going to bring in the last of my Hunkydory strips. You can see where I had cut into them a little bit, because I want there to be, you do want there to be a good amount of lift on this, so that is really supporting this piece here, because it is going to be, it's not, you know, horrendously heavy. Sorry, spitting everywhere. But it is heavy enough that if there wasn't a lot of lift, it could push it aside. So let's just pop that out of the way a second. Let's turn it around the right way. And I think we're probably going to be okay going across there. It's going to be quite nice. So let's peel the back off these. These have been out on the side quite a while, so they might be a little trickier to get the backs off, purely because sometimes they just get a little bit sticky in the heated parts of my rooms. There we go. And I am going to add a little bit of tacky glue again. It will just take a little minute to stick, but it just gives us that little bit of wiggle room time if we notice it's not quite straight. If I line that up there, just check with line on my board if this wants to move quick enough. I think we're about there. Yeah, that's going to hold that up like so. So now the only thing we have is our little sentiment. And I'm thinking of coming over the side on there. So I'm not going to go any higher because I don't want that to go sort of limit my envelope sort of thing. Because I've got envelopes with quite a nice little amount of give. So this will be fine. Because bear in mind now we've got 2mm and 2mm. So that's going to be 4mm at least thick. So you're going to need an envelope with a nice amount of lift. So just add a little pip there and remove that. But that is almost finished now. We just need some little gems, I think. I think we'll go with the red. I'm going to use some pearls on this one because I haven't got any red in the shimmer gems. Wherever you come from, you can go back in there. Okay, so I think all I need is for some to be up here. So I'm just going to put 3 up here. Hoping that's not going to be too close together. And what you could do if you wanted a little bit more interest on here, what you could do is come in with a little bit of glitter and glitter in between these presents. There's a little bit of snow there, so just the odd little flecks of glitter or even your stickles will help that one along. That is card number 1. So I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, just going to do a normal little 6x6 card tent fold like I normally do. So I've just got a piece of that 6x12 cardstock, and I folded that in half, 6 inches. So I'm going to bring in the trimmer, and I'm going to cut this gold Miri mat because the foiling's all gold. So I'm going with that. I generally do like to go with whatever foiling is on there, unless I'm using a glitter. Sometimes with the silver foiling, I feel like you can go in with the holographic. They don't really tend to have any gold holographic, do they? So I tend to stay with the gold Miri or with a gold matte. But that is perfect on there. So next I'm going to bring in the printed cardstock. And it's got this beautiful corner on with the snowflakes. Now, it's going to sound a bit weird, but I'll tell you why in a second. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to frame this up and cut that to 5 3/4, because 9 times out of 10 it'll go on a 6x6 card, or 6x8, but that would be the mat. But because I want this corner, so normally on this cardstock this corner is on the right hand side, but I want to put it on the left hand side, so I want it to go like that. So by cutting it that way, what I can now do, hopefully, is come in and I'm gonna, let's see, what is that at the minute? So we are at exactly 6. So what I can do is take a little bit off that top, so it's not going to be the whole of my card. Still going to be quite a lot, but not quite as much. And then I can cut that down to the 5 3/4. So hopefully now this should fit on here. Always a moment of panic when I think it always looks too small. But now you can see, just by taking that little bit off, I've just got a little bit less of it. I mean, it's still quite a lot, don't get me wrong. Ideally, I would like it around about another 1/2 inch, but I'm going to, I can live with it as it is. Okay. So that is how I have fixed that little piece there. Now, if you've got any little dies with any little pine branches, little reefs, those sort of things, that would be perfect to pop over here with maybe some little present dies along there, just to help lift that even more. I'm not going to do that. I don't do any die cutting on these videos. I tend to use the kit for people that like to just buy the kits. So I think we will go with the big topper. I might not use all of it, but we'll see how it looks when it's on. We've got Winter Wishes. Don't think I'm going to go with especially for you. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where we want to be. So let's pop this onto here. So again, the same glues, and I want to pop a little bit of a ribbon on as well. I do like to add ribbon to my cards. Just feel like it makes it feel more expensive, even though the ribbon's cheap as chips really. Pay £1 for a huge length of it from AliExpress or Temu, whichever one I'm with at the time. Now I have got this beautiful navy, and I think that's going to go quite nice. Or we could go across the bottom. Let's cut it. Put that back over there. Hopefully it's not going to get too lost or tangled up. Now, decisions. Could bring that in. Yeah, I think I'm going to go across the bottom and break up that big sort of space, bring those triangles back in. So just bring in a little bit of red liner tape. This is probably 1/4 inch thick. Now, when you're putting things on an angle like this, sometimes, I don't do this a lot on my videos, usually I do try and plan them out, but see, that's not quite where I want it to be, and that's why. Let's grab, let's pop that round. So I just want that to be more of a similar angle to that. That's going to be better. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to cut any tails. Apologies if you can hear my tummy gurgling. Don't know why it's gurgling. I haven't had any bread. And I like to put a bit of tacky glue under it, under my ribbon and on top, so makes it stop fraying and tends to keep it in place. Touch wood, I've not had one come out yet. So what I'm going to do, put my glues on, and it's up to you whether you want to take the back of that red line tape. I do tend to, I have to be honest, because I always think whatever else is on there to help stick, the better. The trouble is it wants to stay stuck to you. Okay, so here we go, popping this onto our card. So that's where we're at the moment. And remember, this is Matastic, so if you want to emboss it, well, you can emboss the normal adorable scoreable anyway, but you can, if you've got a nice stamp that you want to add on there, a bit of foiling instead of a ribbon, maybe you've got a snowflake corner you want to stamp on there and emboss, you know, it just opens itself up to all of those techniques with this kind of cardstock, and I think that's why I do love it so, even though I don't always take advantage of it. Okay, so do we want, so there's no smaller, this is just this really nice thick frame on here. I'm wondering whether to put a little bit of snowfall acetate behind. Now I have got some odd little pieces which would probably fit in there pretty much exactly. Put it the right way around. No, I'm not going to, but you could do, and you could turn it into a shaker. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go 1mm on the foam pads and then raise our snowman right up. So let's grab these 1mm foam pads. Just going to chop them down the middle, and then we'll add them on. In for a day of drama here tomorrow because they're coming to replace the boiler. So the dogs wasn't happy when the scaffolding went up. George hates drilling and hammering. He gets all stressed and stuff. So well, he gets stressed over everything. He's a proper little stress head. And Henry gets frightened of everything as well. But although it's more the fact that there's people around for him, I think. He's going to have people coming in the kitchen because they've got to turn off the water. And for some reason, when they fitted the kitchen, in their wisdom, they thought the best place, the most accessible place for the water turn off place would be to hide it behind the washing machine. So if they think I've got the strength to pull out the washing machine, they've got another thing coming. Usually, to be fair, what they do is turn it off at the stopcock outside because that is easier. But why they thought it would be the best place to put it there, it used to be just like normal place under the sink. So why they didn't just leave it there, I don't know. But here you go. I'm not going to say that's a man for you, but it was men. Ah, bless. Okay, so let's come over to the left a bit. Pop that down. And then if I grab those 2mm ones as well, we're going to pop this up. And if you wanted to, you could even go higher. You know, those 4mm foam pads would give this a really lovely lift away from that frame, which would be beautiful. There we go. So at the moment you can see it's just that little bit. What I could do, if I take these off, I might just put a 1mm foam pad on. It's going to go over the back quite lumpy because the 1mm ones are big, but it's going to give me a little bit more drama, which is what I want. So over, let's pop that. A nice chunky one to go over both, preferably not to stick them to a project. And then we'll go one over there as well. It looks a bit hodgepodge, but nobody's going to see behind there. What I could have done is just layered 3 up, but it seems quite wasteful. Or I could just buy some 3 or 4mm foam pads, which would be even better. I'll put them on my list. There we go. So this is going to come up nice and high. You can see there's a bit more definition there, which is perfect. Now I think what I'm going to do is come in just at 1mm with this one. And then what I'll do is pop the bow on top of it. I'll make a little bow. Again, if you've got any snowflakes, whether they be die cuts or peel-offs, because I know the peel-offs were back in stock, weren't they? Hunkydory, if you are into that sort of thing. I am getting back into them, I have to be honest. I don't know why. After 20 years, when I never liked them in the first place, I have been finding a love for them. So another little bit of that navy ribbon, and across. I remember going into a craft shop when we first started crafting, because Mum was really into peel-offs, like she super loved them. Actually, go pick that up. And we went to this place, it's not far, just on the other side of town, and they had like a whole room was just peel-offs, like, you know, those things they put the cards in, those sort of shelving, like the whole thing was peel-offs. And they do like one thing and then it would be in every colour, and they used to be like 89p. I'm just going to use my reverse tweezers to hold that in place. Okay, so because I'm going more with the blue, I think I should use some blue. Yes, some blue, but I want to also bring in, let me just grab these little clear ones. I will show you why. Those are all different colours. That's the one I think I want. Yes. I'm trying to use these ones, they're just little ones in all the different colours. So, okay, so let's do the clear ones first of all, because there's going to be more of them. So what I'm going to do on all of these little snowflakes and the white ones on here is pop one of these sparkle gems on. Not the tiny one, I don't think, because it's just going to drown the whole snowflake out. Let's do those ones first of all. This is when it gets annoying because they all fall over the wrong way. Right, look at that, now they go the right way. So just going to pop that into the middle. And you could use your Nuvo drops, anything like that. I have got a lot of Nuvo drops, but I have to be honest, even though 98% of the time it comes out alright, I'm not 100% confident in using them direct onto a project, because I find when the 2% that's gone wrong has usually been like it spits out onto your project, and like I test it beforehand, just put some more of those in there, and it's working fine. And I'll even do a couple of test dots to warm myself up, you know, like you do. And then you turn to your project and it goes and you're like, and you get annoyed. But there's like no way to make that right. It's a bit sticky there, it's not working properly. Okay. Should be okay. There. Spin around. And all this is going to do is just add just another little element to the card, really. Don't know if I'm going to do that one. We'll see what that other one looks like. Come on out. And the hardest thing I think about doing this is when you've put the glue on, sometimes it's hard to see exactly where the middle is, and then you find when it's dried it's just slightly off. Not so much that it's really disrupting, but you know, you see it. It's always the thing, isn't it, when you make a mistake on a card, you see it more than other people do. So I'm just going to put one on there and there. It's going to be quite big for that snowflake, but oops. Let's try not to throw that around. Right, okay, so it's my quest to get those used up. I like those little boxes. I don't know what I'm going to put in there when they're all gone, but okay, so I think if I turn this back round, and I think I'm going to have a random little spattering of gems of these blues. So we'll just play with a little bit of placement. Come on now. Turn over. Turn over, you little devil. Does not want to turn over. Do you want to go on this card or not? Make a decision. Because if you don't turn over, there you go. Same with you. Why do you have to threaten them to get them to do what you want them to do? Right. So just, and then maybe one. You're a bit keen, aren't you? And we'll go with the smaller one again because there's quite a few of these. Oh, now it's going to have the same problem we had just now. 6, 7, 8, 9. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's just put that in the right way. Try not to drop them. Just a little bit of glue and popping them down. It's a bit key. And these tools are great, these, but just sometimes if you're having problems with them, sometimes you just need to wipe the grab bit, because they get a bit sticky, and sometimes they're not quite sticky enough, but sometimes they do get a little bit sticky, and just by wiping it, it just frees it up to, for the, because I think this is wax, this piece here just frees up the wax to pick things up properly. Okay, so that is my second card. So you can see there's just those mix of the gems there. You've got the little bit of sparkle on the snowflakes, and then the beautiful blue pearls just to tie in those blue tones. I will leave this on for about 5-10 minutes just for that to set. It probably is okay now because it's been on there a while. Yeah, that's fine. So let me just bring back in the one that I made before. So we've got our lovely little tent fold card and our reverse easel. What I'll also do is I just finished off that other card that I got started before the video cut out, and all I did was took the 6x12 card blank. I scored at 3 inches on each side, so it was 3 and 9. So you've got the equal sides of the gatefold. I cut the insert to the usual 5 3/4, 2 notches off the 6 for the gold. I put all of these on the 2mm foam pads. I put pads on the left hand side for this bigger one, pads on the right hand side for this smaller one. I didn't use the middle one, and some blue pearls just to finish it off. No gems, no, you know, apart from these little blue gems in the corner, but nothing else on there. It doesn't need anything else. It looks quite nice as it is. So that's it for today. So coming back with the last little play with this kit next time. I think there are some larger toppers on that one. I think there's like 3 sort of overly toppers. So there's going to be quite big toppers to work with. But I'll try and get working through what's left over on this tomorrow. It might be hard with them doing work. I don't know. At one point we're going to have no electricity. For the most part of the day we're going to have no water. Water's not going to affect me, but the electricity might do, because in here it's quite dark, and I do need a light on really to work. But if it's a sunny day, we might get away with it. So we'll see what happens. So I might be able to work through it. Otherwise, I'll work through it over the weekend with the other kit. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your comments, likes, shares, all the things you do to support me. I really do appreciate it. And I say it a lot because I do mean it. But until next time, happy crafting. Bye.